Hey guys!
Hey, Sunshine Nation!
Welcome back to the Sunshine State of Mind podcast.
We're glad you're
awesome.
here.
Life is good, even when it's not as good. And you just look at it, you know what I mean? And so, we just are grateful that you're here.
It's true. It's true.
Yep, and that's what this is all about, guys. That's what Sunshine State of Mind is all about. We are here to help you figure out how can we live with a sunshine state of mind.
Today we're going to talk about miracles. Last year around January, I was really worried about getting Jackson's tuition paid for because he had been out of school for a long time, trying to work, trying to make ends meet, and still trying to get enough to pay off his tuition so he could go back to school. And it was a really big stress for him. So there was a Sunday that I fasted and prayed, and I was just fasting and praying that you would get a lot of new deals in your work so that we could be able to help him pay that off and he could get back to school because he had a deadline.
I showed up at work on a Monday, and then they came in like it was a sales meeting, and they were like, so, by the way, we are closing down in Florida. And I'm like, whoa, what?
The day after I fasted and prayed that he would make more money, he lost his job.
Yeah. I had several deals that were signed, ready to go, that ended up not.
They would have brought us thousands
forward.
of dollars.
Yes, so life changes all of a sudden. Boom, just right there.
But then that week, I just, I was in turmoil, talking with God, saying that's exactly opposite from what I was praying for. How could this happen? How are we supposed to help him make this happen? And then that Friday, I guess it was Friday, Jackson called us and said, Mom, my tuition's been paid for. I swore I wasn't going to cry this podcast, but he said somebody called in, and he wouldn't tell us who. They wanted to stay anonymous. And he said that somebody called in and said, hey, can I call your school and just check on your tuition? I feel like I have some connections. But this person sacrificed a lot of money and paid off Jackson's tuition. So interesting, we fasted and prayed for a miracle with you working, but God's like, I got another way.
Yeah.
And it was completely different than what we thought, but it was such a huge blessing.
Yeah, something that
still is. It makes me super emotional. And someday we're going to find out who that is and somehow reimburse them or pay it forward, right?
So you guys already probably saw the video with Jordan and Nevaeh, their podcast. Did you guys check it out? If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. But for those of you who did see it or didn't see it, this is a spoiler alert. Jordan and Nevaeh got engaged.
Holy cow.
And so they're going to get married. Actually, they're getting married next month.
Next month.
So it's coming up pretty soon. Almost like they got engaged yesterday and tomorrow they're getting married. So it's it's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's December 26th. So we're super excited about it and happy for them.
We knew they were wanting to get married soon. And so in my heart, in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, we've got to figure out a way to make more money. We've got to figure out a way because it's our first child getting married. We want to make sure it's special. We love Nevaeh so much. And so again, I was praying and praying for a way to make more money and make this happen. But as you guys know from last week's podcast, a deer hit our car, and that is going to cost us a very large deductible.
No doubt. So are you guys, listen, some of you guys out there may be thinking, there's people out there that are thinking, man, I just had this happen, and I'm trying to make this work.
Right.
And I'm doing all these things right? Because we feel like
we want you to
hard.
apply this to you, yeah.
Yeah, we're working how many jobs? I mean, we work so many jobs.
Oh, how many
it's
jobs
ridiculous,
we work.
And we appreciate all of them.
We are so grateful for our jobs.
We're grateful for them, but we do
And every
work.
time people ask us, hey, do you want to work this job? Yes. We say yes to every job.
We take all kinds of odd jobs. Yeah. But as we've been working and everything, it's kind of like we think, okay, we got to be catching up. But then it just seems like sometimes you take 3 steps back, right? Talk about something out of your control.
Completely. People were saying, I did not hit the
car.
deer. The deer went boom right there. So that was super disappointing. But that whole week last week, I was just praying and trying to figure it out. And we were driving our van that has 275,000 miles on it. It could break down at any moment. We could hear the gears shifting and clunking in the car. And I feel like the transmission's going to fall out any minute. So I have 3 miracles to share with you.
Before we go into this miracle thing, so what do you consider a miracle, Rachel? Because I know a lot of people out there might be thinking a miracle means they think of Jesus raising the dead or
Yeah.
causing a blind man to see. So
Yeah.
what do you think is a miracle?
That's a really good question, because sometimes I toil with it in my mind too. Because sometimes when I'm feeling not so spiritual, I'll be like, oh, well, that wasn't a miracle. That was just a really good person being really sweet, right? Because you
Yeah.
could look at it and just be like, man, people are just good people. So is that really a miracle? But I feel like it's something that happens in a timely way that only God knows. And that God has touched their heart in a way that only God knows.
Well, yeah, I mean, but don't you think, like, even just if it is another person, because I think God answers people's prayers through other people,
100%.
which to me is a miracle. Not only
100%.
that God told them that, but also that they listened to it and then felt strongly enough about it to act on it.
I totally agree with that.
And so,
Yeah.
so thinking about that way, how important is it as the receiver of a gift or of a miracle to be humble enough to receive it? Because God is showing His
Oh
power.
my gosh.
Is that humbling? Is it important to be humble? How
As grateful as we are, it's super humbling to see other people help, right? And that's why I see that person who helped Jackson, and I think, oh my gosh, that's so humbling, and I want to pay them back someday,
and don't you
some way.
Well, if we go back to the Lion King, it would be called the circle of life, right? It's like
It is.
it's the circle of life, and
Yeah.
sometimes we are the ones that have been blessed with so much to be able to
Yeah.
offer other people, and sometimes we are the ones who are in need of help. But guess what? The Lord has placed all of these things into our lives to see how we treat each other and how we
Right.
respond to it.
Right.
And I feel like understanding that process is humbling, even if you're the giver.
Humbling in a whole other way of
Yeah.
seeing that it's God's hand.
Well, and it should be
I hear you,
humbling in
yeah.
that way for us to receive it as well. It's humbling
Yeah.
that somebody would do that for us, but also to understand that this is a process.
Yeah.
And it's like when you went to Africa, you remember the lady, what she said?
It was a
Was it a
guy.
lady?
Yeah,
Was
it
it a
was a
guy?
guy. It was a guy. I went to Africa with a nonprofit group, and we helped build schools there and helped the children there. And we brought, all kinds of things for them, and it was an incredible experience. And I remember interviewing the different people there because I was making a video for them. And I asked one man, I said, how do you feel having all these people come here from America to help you? And he said, well, the same God who knows that you have so much is the same God who knows that we have so little. And that's part of God's plan, right?
Right.
That's His plan, is to say, hey, this is what we needed.
So
Okay,
listen to these miracles, and then please let us know in the comments whether or not you feel like these are miracles, and also
Definitely.
let us know what miracles you guys have seen in your life. So
And
let's hear 'em.
just going back to that mindset is, if you aren't attributing things to God, kind of check your heart and how you're feeling, because the times when I haven't been willing to attribute it to God, it's been me.
Mm-hmm.
It's been me and my heart and where I'm at, and I had to check myself and just say, you know what, I give all glory to God. But this last week I was feeling sad because our car was broken down. We were in this van. I didn't have any electricity, and I needed to edit a video. Jane was at football practice. I had 2 hours there with Juliana. So I went into Winn-Dixie and I said, I won't cause any trouble. Can I just sit on the corner and plug my computer in? So I squeezed myself in between these two electrical chairs and plugged in my computer and worked for 2 hours there, just sitting on the floor. And Juliana was getting pretty hungry, and she hadn't eaten since lunch because she went straight from wrestling to football. And she said, Mom, I have this card. Can I go get some food for myself at Winn-Dixie there? And I said, go ahead. I'll just keep working. So she went there, and she was gone for quite a while. And she came back and she said, I ran my card several times, and the lady who was bagging her groceries said, oh, it's not working. I'll pay for your food. And oh my gosh, you guys, I swore I was going to cry this whole day. Because that's just a small one.
Yeah.
But she was just a teenage girl, not getting paid much, bagging groceries, and she paid for her. And when she came back, Juliana and I just cried, and I finally scrounged around and got some dollars, and I was like, oh my gosh, go pay her this. So we paid her back. But just her heart to do that was incredible to me. I felt like that was a miracle, because God was like, that lady didn't know that we were struggling, and that $2, I paid it back to her, but just that action of, I've got you. So that was the first thing, right? Pay attention to the moments where God is saying, I got you. Tyson went to church, and one of his wrestling buddies went with him, and church is half an hour away, so his wrestling buddy drove him, Devin. And on their way back, Devin wanted to stop by Panera Bread to get a brownie. So Tyson was like, hey, yeah, you go get that brownie. I'm just going to go to the bathroom. Tyson wasn't going to get anything. But there was a lady that he had smiled to and waved at when they walked into Panera Bread. And when he came back, he was smiling at her. And she said, what are you guys dressed up for? And he said, well, we just came back from church. And he said, and then we're going to head back to college. It's half an hour away. And the lady was so touched that these two college boys were going to church and, doing the right thing, that she said, can I buy you dinner? And so, of course, I'm like, oh, my gosh.
Big shout out to Devin for taking Tyson to church, first of all, and going
Right.
with him. That's pretty awesome. Great friend.
Yeah,
And then
Tyson
big
helps
shout-
him with gas money, but still huge.
Huge shout out to the lady. What a nice lady that is, to be looking out for other people and looking for ways to just help people. And wow, what a blessing.
Ever since last year, somebody fed Jackson when he was doing sales, door-to-door sales. I've done that. Like, there was a lawn guy who came by, and I brought him cake and water. So we learn from you people who are serving and doing this good. I now want to do that. I do. I just want to pay it forward.
It's an inspiration when you hear stories
Yeah.
like that, and then you think to yourself, or at least I think to myself, I want to be like that. I want to
Yes.
be a person that can buy people dinner,
Yeah.
So listen, Lord, if you know, just bring the money and I will buy people dinner.
And we have bought people dinner, but I've never just bought dinner for college kids.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Because I'm inspired by some kids. I'll see them, I'm like, look at that good kid. I'll see them doing something nice, but to buy them dinner, she knows that college kids don't have a lot of money. And
Yeah, what a nice, sweet lady.
Yeah.
So, listen, this next miracle is pretty amazing. But as you guys know, when you get in an accident, so like when the deer hit our car, we had the insurance, we had to take it to the people, they had to look at it, and they took it in. They're going to be fixing that car for almost a month,
Yeah.
basically. Well, more than
Yeah.
a month. They'll have it for more than a month to fix it, which, is kind of hard. Some of our friends who are going on vacation for a month asked us to keep their car at our house, which means that if we absolutely needed a car
to go farther distances. Yeah.
distances, we could actually use that car, and they told us that. And so that's a miracle in and of itself. I'm like,
Right,
it just
like
so
the
happened
timing.
to time out in that way to where it worked out to when they were gone that they would have their car available and that we would be able to use it. That's amazing.
They said that before our other car broke down, which is incredible.
Exactly.
Miracle? That's a miracle.
And the other thing, as you guys know, is when you have insurance, you do have a deductible. And so there's an amount of a deductible. And we were just thinking to ourselves, man, we are figuring out how to make sure we pay our regular bills, right? So we're like, every month you're just like, okay, I got these bills. I got to make sure they get paid.
And
so
prepare
now,
for a wedding.
And prepare for a wedding on top of that, with Christmas coming up and Thanksgiving.
Yes,
All
and
of these
birthdays.
expenses that are hitting us. Yeah, Mariah, Tyson, they have birthdays coming up. We just had Jordan's birthday. So thinking about all these things, we're like, oh my gosh, our heads are spinning with this. Like, just trying to think about it. It's hard to like go to sleep and think about, just all these things that are so stressful on you. The only reason I tell you that is because you try to come up with a way like, okay, God, how are we going to pay all these bills? How are we going to get this taken care of? And we know that there's a certain amount of money due when that car's fixed. Well, there's a friend of ours who said they wanted to talk to us. And they came to our house and basically told us, here, I have this for you. And gave us a gift.
An envelope.
In an envelope.
This person said, you need your car back. And I started crying. And then this person said, well, you haven't even opened it yet.
So as Rachel opened the envelope and began to count, it came out to the exact amount as what we owe on the car when they finish working
For the
on it.
deductible.
For the deductible.
Which is a large amount.
Yeah, oh yeah. And
this person who gave it doesn't have much. This person who gave it just had a lot of loss in their life. And they wanted to stay anonymous. So when we said, thank you so much, what did this person say?
Don't thank me, it's God. I serve God, and I serve those who follow God. And so I was like, wow.
And we kept trying to thank this person. I just sobbed. I couldn't believe it. That the exact amount that we needed for the deductible of the car was exactly what was given to us. I just kept trying to say, thank you. And they deflected that gratitude and gave it to God. Person said, it's not me. God told me I needed to do this, so I had to come immediately.
And after that person said that, I just knew that that's what it was. The truth was being spoken. That was God. There's no other way for those types of things to happen. When you feel those thoughts, to do things in that way for those purposes.
I have another little story to share with you. Is that well, another little piece of that is every time he's given me a blessing or prayed over me as my husband, as a priesthood holder in our home, I've always listened for the words. And even when I was younger, before I was married, whenever I'd receive a blessing, the words were given, God is pleased with you. And I always waited for those words. God is pleased with you. And even a friend one time, there was some chaos at a football game, and I stood strong, and I didn't react. In that moment, I did a good job. I was like very under control, and I felt like I was trying to be Christ-like. And my friend came up, someone I didn't even know very well, and he said, Rachel, I just want you to know God is pleased with you. And so I always listen for that word, God is pleased. And this person, after they left and gave that gift, they said that there was a rainbow over the ocean. And then they said, God is pleased. And I just lost it again.
Listen, there's miracles, guys, in our lives. Years and years ago, Rachel had started just writing a blog before we ever even considered YouTube.
Yeah.
She was writing a blog called Daily Miracles, where every day she would think of what were the miracles that happened in my life today. And I would say that, if we can be more mindful and look out for those miracles that are happening in our lives every day, it changes everything. It doesn't mean that we go through life without having problems or challenges or temptations or anything like that. What it does is it helps make sure that we're focused on things that we should be focused on. And it helps us understand that God is doing miracles in our lives every day. And it's important for us to keep our eyes open on it.
That's just God saying over and over again, I got you. Would you stop stressing? I got you.
Let us know, what are your miracles that you're seeing in your lives every day? What are some miracles that you might have slept on, but now you're like looking back and going, oh, that was a miracle. So we want you guys to share it with us. Let us know. Keep an eye out for the way that God is touching your life every day. We want you to know that it is God, and God is out there. He's looking for you. He has you. And we hope you guys remember that.
We love you guys. Remember to spread sunshine and
always have that sunshine state of mind, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.